Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an alien encounter video about the Battle of Rome, Ohio. Before I get into this, though, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you would hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on social media, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon.com. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there. I like to think I write good stories that make you think. Hope you find some of my books that you enjoy, because there's a variety of topics, and I hope you do enjoy them. All right. The Battle of Rome, Ohio. Northern Ohio, 1981. A family-owned farm on Johnson Road experienced a 2 to 3 month altercation with multiple types of unknown creatures and craft. The situation began in early 1981 when the father, Robert, and I couldn't find their last name. I think they withheld it. Okay. Anyway, Robert found a deer which had been shredded open by something with large claws. Something big did it. Okay. In May, Amish woodcutters had an issue with a dead horse. Shots were fired and the woodcutters fled. They didn't return for their tools and equipment for several months. None of them would talk about it. They just left their equipment and ran. They didn't come back for months to get it. In early June, a gas line worker in the woods found a 40-foot square patch of completely barren ground. There were 4 holes in the ground the size of 50-gallon drums. Later in June, 4 ducks and a chicken were found ripped apart in the woods. They hadn't been eaten, just ripped apart. The tracks were huge, with massive claw marks. The real terror started a few days later. Robert's 16-year-old son was in bed and began screaming. He said he had seen some kind of creature staring in through the window. In late June, Robert went outside with a flashlight to see what was terrorizing their ducks. He saw a 7-foot-tall form in the darkness with glowing red eyes, and he shot it. It screamed and ran away on 2 legs. Now, when I first read this, I thought that sounded to me a lot like a Bigfoot, right? And there are reports of Bigfoot creatures and aliens and UFOs working together. So maybe that's the case here. I don't know. Anyway, the very next night, their dog started barking. Robert found the dog hiding by a lawnmower. There was a 10-foot-tall form that resembled a gorilla just standing there. It stared at him with red glowing eyes, and it growled. Robert ran back inside and grabbed his shotgun. He and his sons got in the truck and chased the creature into their field. They lost it on the neighbor's property because it ran all the way through their field into the neighbor's property. They lost it. They knocked on the neighbor's door and talked to them. They said the neighbors said that they hadn't seen any kind of creature like that. So they turn around, they're driving back. On the way back, the truck's engine died. A different neighbor stopped to help, and Robert relayed what had happened. As they talked, they saw something big walking through the woods. The neighbor saw this as well. The neighbor said that his sons had been camping in the backyard. They burst into the house saying that they'd heard ungodly growling noises. Yeah, if you're camping in the yard and something's growling at you, it's time to get in the damn house. Can't blame them. The engine suddenly started up again, so they returned home. 2 days later, on June 28th, Robert and his 2 sons, saw one of the creatures in the field. It was holding a spherical light which glowed blue. The light suddenly went out, and they saw 3 pairs of red eyes staring at them. Of course, the 3 of them opened fire. It was unclear if they hit any of them. They returned home and remained on watch from the rooftop. The next day, a researcher named Dennis Pilicus arrived, and he found large circular footprints with 3 claws. They were 7 inches wide and had a 6-foot stride. So whatever made these were freaking huge. Evidently, the creatures with the red eyes and the creatures with the blue lights were different entities. So at least two different kinds of creature. The researcher saw the creatures several times while he stayed there. Law enforcement officers were called, and they found tracks but no creatures. So this is part of the official police record. For months afterward, they saw creatures, tracks, and lights in the sky. At one point, they saw a strange horse morph into one of the creatures. So there was a horse, and it changed shape into one of these creatures. So these things can shape change. The man and his sons were with the researcher on the roof, because they would be on the roof guarding the place with their guns. They were on the roof with the researcher when a glowing orb appeared. It shot a beam of light at one of the sons. The son became dizzy. Luckily, the other son grabbed him before he fell off the roof. So these lights, these orbs, attacked them. Maybe in response. I don't know, but they're attacking us. We should attack them back, kind of thing. I don't know, but my contention is these things had offensive capabilities. Another object descended to the ground and morphed into a winged creature, which then ran off into the trees on 4 legs. The strange events continued for the entire summer. Other witnesses saw the creatures in the area, and one witness was chased by one of them. The guy was walking in a gravel area where there used to be a train track. The tracks had been removed, but the gravel bed was still there, and he used it as a shortcut to get from point A to point B. He's walking along, and one of these creatures chased him. A couple days later, he's out there with a couple of friends. They've got guns, and this creature started trying to chase him again. One of his friends shot at it, apparently hit it. It fell to the ground, screamed, and then crawled off into the woods. This series of events over a several-month period in the summer of 1981 is well documented with tons of witnesses. The researcher Dennis Pelikas wrote a book about the events titled The Ohio Night Siege, a UFO Creature Invasion. I highly recommend you get that book. There are some that say that it was a hoax, but that would mean all of the people in the area were in on it. I don't believe that, because somebody would have outed the hoax by now. And I don't believe that. Anyway, I found this story and I thought you guys might enjoy it, so I put it on here. And it just goes to show you, sometimes the aliens are not what you think they are, and sometimes they fight back. Just be aware. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. Vanguard 1, Devo Poland, a scientific representative from a pacifist race called the Gandhiri, has come to Earth to learn the one thing that humans do better than anyone else in the galaxy: to fight. In the sequel, Task Force Terminus, Earth is at war with an alien race called the Amdola. Devo Poland's new commission in the Terran fleet exposes him to bigotry and treachery, and he comes to realize that sometimes political and military maneuvering are one and the same.